Hey, it's the Lisper Podcast. And I'm your host, Tyrone the Lisper. And I'm talking today in my sexy voice. Thank you, let me stop. Yeah, I'm talking today. I'm your host, the Lisper, for the Lisper Podcast. Of course, I'm the host because I'm Tyrone, and Tyrone is the host of the Lisper Podcast. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, y'all see my team is here. Everybody's here. Co-host is here. Co-host, say hello. All right. Co-host, about to make his contribution to the episode. There it is. There it is. And here we go. So today's episode, first of all, oh, you know what else ain't here? What else ain't here is the do-rag, the hat, the ponytail, the hood, the whatever I usually have to cover this hair up. I ain't got it today. You know why? Because I had to wash this shit. I do construction, and this shit gets dirty as hell, and I had to wash it, right? And anybody who got locks know that when you wash these shits, man, you can't dry them. You can't dry them no matter what you do. You put that towel on your head for 35 to 45 minutes. You sit under that fucking dryer, and you sit under there, and you play on your phone, whatever you do. Sit under that dryer for an hour, and then you got the regular blow dryer that and you blow, and you blow, and you blow, and you blow, and this shit's still wet. This shit's still wet. So I just said, fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. I keep it real on this show, and I'm going to keep it real right now. I need a retwist. Okay? So anybody out there that think they can do this shit, holler at your boy. Because at this point, Brittany don't want to fuck with me no more. Because I want to get a retwist when I want to get it. She want to be on her time, and I want to be on my time, and so we don't, neither one of us don't have time, and then so my hair be looking fuck like this. Okay? I don't care. She don't care, but I need this hair done. But I'm not getting it done today. So this is what you gotta live with. Like it or not. I don't care. I keep it 100 on my show. But today's episode is called To Kill or Not to Kill. And that is the question. You know why I asked that question? Because 50 Cent said, I watch gangster flicks and root for the bad guy and turn it off before it ends because the bad guy died. Because the bad guy most of the time always dies. The bad guy most of the time always dies. But here's my problem with that is the bad guy most of the time is the most interesting guy in the fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? They make these villains so interesting and so dynamic. And then they kill them. They kill them. And then I'm just here to say, you don't gotta kill them. You don't gotta kill them. Well, not all the time. Sometimes you gotta kill them, I guess. But I mean, you don't have to kill them all the time. And so I'm here to say, maybe we should let more of the bad guys live, so to speak, or whatever the case may be. Because I'm just saying that cartoons. I'll put it to example. Cartoons, right? You got G.I. Joe. You got the Thunder Cats. You got Transformers. You got all these cool ass cartoons that everybody used to watch growing up, and then you got the new cartoons that the kids watch, like yeah. I don't know none of the new cartoons that the kids watch, but I know the old ones. I know Thundercats. I know Tom and Jerry. I know all the old cartoons that I used to watch, right? Inspector Gadget and all those cartoons like that, right? And you know what was the dynamic thing every week? G.I. Joe. We knew that they was fighting Cobra. You know what I'm saying? They was fighting Cobra. They was fighting Cobra, and G.I. Joe wasn't killing nobody. G.I. Joe would take 1,000,000 shots. Them guns would have lasers on it, and they would take 1,000,000 shots. Pew, 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 pew. You would see shots all over the screen. The whole screen would be covered up with the colors of the shots. The red shots was Cobra shots, the blue shots was G.I. Joe shots, and they'd be going all over the place. And tanks be shooting, explosions be happening, shit be blowing up, everything be fucked up. Don't nobody die. Don't nobody die. And why you think G.I. Joe didn't never kill Cobra? Because if G.I. Joe killed Cobra, who the fuck is G.I. Joe fighting next week? Who the fuck is G.I. Joe fighting next week? Now you gotta get the writers in there. You gotta come up with a new bad guy. They gotta be dynamic. They gotta be formidable foes. When you didn't have to do all that, all you had to do is just keep Cobra. Keep Cobra. Yeah, Cobra loses the battle, but they live to continue to fight the war. And now you know, and knowing is half the battle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like cartoons did not kill the bad guys because they needed to reuse the bad guys because ain't nobody wasn't writing new dynamic bad guys. When you come up with a good bad guy, you keep them. Okay, Thundercats every week they fought Mumbra old ass. Mama was an old ass motherfucking Mama could transform Mr. K Farm to Mumbra, the ever living Pow. And that's right. Monroe was the ever living. Get it? Ever living, never dying. Thundercats ain't never kill him. They beat him. Dum dum dum. Dum 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 dum. Yeah, they beat him. But they ain't never killed Monroe. You know why? Because they needed Monroe to come back next week. And they had his little minions too. Now they said, okay, they could have killed the little minions. They could have killed that wolf looking dude. They could have killed the frog looking dude. You know what I'm saying? G.I. Joe could have killed maybe them twin dudes. Them twin Cobra boys could have got killed. Maybe Zartan could have got killed or something. Not Destro. Destro was number 2. They couldn't kill Destro, but maybe they could have killed Zartan or something. Maybe the Thundercats could have killed one of them, them side villains or whatever the case may be. But why? Why? They wasn't worth nothing. They was henchmen. You don't kill henchmen. You just fuck henchmen up, let them go about their business. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even worth it to kill them because you kill henchmen, Mumra can just get new henchmen. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can get new henchmen, so it ain't worth it to kill them, and it ain't worth it to kill Mumra. If they would have killed Mumra, then next week they would have had to come up with a different villain. And then if he wasn't that good, they were gonna have to kill him, come up with another villain. You know what I'm saying? So it's not worth it. He-Man did never kill Skeletor. The whole dynamic and the whole thrill of us watching He-Man was what is Skeletor going to come up with next week? Hey, He-Man! You know what I'm saying? Skeletor was going to come up with another plot next week. Evil Lyn was going to be there. Beastman was going to be there, right? He-Man was going to be there. Teela was going to be there. Man of Arms was going to be there. Transformers, okay? You got Optimus Prime. You got Megatron. Nobody cared about the other people. Yeah, we cared about Bumblebee. Bumblebee was a little bitch. But he was willing to fight, but he was a little bitch. He was like the bitchy transformer, but he was willing to fight. I don't get it. But you got Bumblebee, you got Jazz, you got Optimus Prime. Those were the main Autobots that we knew. The Decepticons, we had Megatron, we had Starscream, we had Soundwave, and then he used to send Ravage out and Rumble out, whatever. And we didn't kill him. What would Transformers look like if Megatron was dead next week? We found out, didn't we? We found out because in Transformers, the movie, right? In Transformers, the movie, they killed Megatron ass. They killed Megatron ass. They killed Optimus Prime ass too. And what did we get? We got Rodimus Prime. We got Galvatron. They even killed Starscream. You killed Starscream? You killed Megatron. And then you kill Starscream, the 2 best characters in the whole show. Starscream and Megatron was the 2 best characters in the whole Transformers show, and you kill both of them in one motherfucking movie. And then you end up with Galvatron and whoever, and Scourge, or Scourge, whatever his name was, Scourge or Scourge, and Galvatron and Rodimus Prime, right? And what happened? What happened? They had to bring Optimus Prime back. They said, fuck it, you know what I mean? We can't bring Megatron back. But goddamn, we got to do something. And then pretty soon, Transformers was canceled. They was off air. And when they did the movies, and when they brought Transformers back out and they did the movies and they did the new shows, who was back alive? Tell me who was back alive. Megatron and Starscream. Why? Because they knew it. They knew them 2 characters show. They saw when Megatron and Starscream was there. Nobody gave a fuck about Galvatron. Nobody gave a fuck about Galvatron. Galvatron wasn't even cool. Galvatron transformed into like a cannon. That wasn't cool. It was cool as shit to see Megatron, big ass Megatron, transform into this little ass gun that Soundwave would grab and fucking shoot. That was cool as shit. Nobody cared about Galvatron transforming into a fucking little, like, mini little cannon thing. Nobody cared about Scourge and them transforming, Starscream and them transforming into jets. Like American looking, nice looking, colorful jets, right? And Scourge and them transforming into some kind of spaceship looking shit. Like some alien shit, like shit that wasn't right, shit that didn't excite nobody. Scourge didn't talk no shit to Megatron. They just did whatever Galvatron said to do. Galvatron didn't talk that shit like Megatron talked that shit. Scourge didn't talk that shit like Starscream talked that shit. You had great villains and you killed them off. And for what? For what? Destroyed your fucking show. I watch Dexter right now. Now we want to call Dexter the hero, but Dexter ain't the hero. I mean, he tries to kill for truth and justice or whatever. You know, he's got the code, but let's be clear, Dexter is a murdering motherfucker, right? And they tried 3 times. They tried to kill Dexter, but you ain't killing Dexter. You know why you're not killing Dexter? Because Dexter is the star of the show. I mean, well, Dexter's not the prime example because it is Dexter's show. But I'm just saying, like, why do Dexter keep coming back? Why do they keep bringing Dexter back? Because Dexter is a dynamic character, and Dexter is essentially like a villain, like a villain. Even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they use Thanos How many times? Thanos was around for a long time. You know what I mean? Thanos set up the first Avengers. Thanos was the one who sent Loki. Thanos was behind the scenes working. Thanos was in Infinity War. Thanos was in Endgame. You know why? Because Thanos was too big of a villain to kill off. Thanos was too big of a villain to just go ahead on and wipe him out. Thanos did so good that they didn't want to wipe him out. Thanos did so good as villain that they were bringing in the next villain to go through a whole Kang dynasty. Thanos was so good as a villain that he led to a Kang dynasty. You get what I'm saying? Kang was going to be around for a long time. Kang was in Loki. He Who Remains. He was in Loki season 2. He was going to be in Quantumania. He was going to be in the next Avengers movie. He was going to be in the next Avengers movie after that. And he was going to be behind the scenes working in all the other movies that led up to those Avengers movies and those Avengers movies after that. We talking about 5 or 6 movies they was going to be using Mr. Kang in there because Kang was going to be a dynamic villain. So don't kill him. So for me, I never understood killing the villains in movies. And then we go to horror films, right? You see why the horror films are so good? Because the ones with popular, good villains, bring them back. The successful horror films bring back their good villains. Freddy Krueger been back a whole bunch of times. Jason been back a whole bunch of times. Michael Myers been back and been remade a whole bunch of times because the villain was great. And why lose out on something? Why lose out on something where the villain is great? Now they make horror movies about regular people, and those regular people get killed at the end of horror movies, which I think is stupid. I think that's stupid. But let's just go to the Freddy Kruegers and the Jasons and the Michael Myers and those guys like that, the supernatural horror films. In supernatural horror films, we already know that the guy's going to come back. We already know they're going to come back. They're supernatural. And they make them supernatural. Why? Why do they make Freddy supernatural? Why do they make Jason supernatural? Why do they make Michael Myers supernatural? To justify them coming back, because you can't have an 8-hour movie, can you? You can't have a movie where Michael Myers keeps getting the fuck up, because then the movie will never end. If Michael Myers don't never get the fuck up, the movie will never end. The good guys will never win. So you gotta kind of kill him. You gotta kind of kill him. You gotta shoot him that one last time. You gotta cut his head off. You gotta blow him up. You gotta do something to the supernatural villains to make it clear that these motherfuckers ain't getting up. Even though we as people know that they're supernatural, you can't really kill them, but you gotta give it some time frame. Okay, they're not gonna get up today. They're not going to get up today, and then the movie's going to end because nobody wants to watch these motherfuckers sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to watch Freddy. And you know what's funny? I always think of these horror super villains and these horror, well, they not super villains, but you know, well, they is. They is, as a matter of fact, they is super villains like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers. They all is super villains because they don't die. They got superpowers, so I guess you call them super villains. But when you watch these horror movies, right, I always think of these villains as being like Superman. Like Superman, right? You fuck them up so much that they just gotta rejuvenate. It's like they can't die. You can't kill them. You know they're coming back because they make so much money and they're so popular. So we gotta bring them back. We can't kill them, but we can't have 8-hour movies. So we get them to the point where they fucked up to the point where they can't do shit no more. It's just like, okay, you blew me up. Like shit, like Freddy said himself, I've been stabbed, I've been cut up, been blown up, holy water, all kinds of shit. You keep doing shit to him. And so in one movie, you got to do enough to him to just like make him tired enough to like take a nap. You know what I mean? Like, go rejuvenate. Like, we thought Superman was there, but Superman just had to take a break. He's like, damn, Doomsday fucked me up so bad that I just got to go lay down. I just got to go lay down. I just got to take a nap, get a sandwich. You know what I mean? We never see him eat. We never see Jason eat. We never see Michael Myers eat, Freddy eat. Where are they getting their sustenance from? Where are they getting their calories from to do all this work? That's what happens, man. That's what happens. They're not taking enough calories. They get fucked up. They get tired. They don't hydrate. They don't hydrate. Michael Myers walking around with that mask on. I know that motherfucker high. I know Michael Myers be dehydrated, right? But he got to look super. He got to look bad to the bone. So he don't hydrate nothing. So what they do is, once you fuck them up enough, you know they dehydrated, you beat their asses enough for them just to take a break. They just got to take a break. They got to go lay down, take a nap, hydrate, eat some food, maybe get their fuck on somewhere. We don't know. We don't know, but they have to do things to take a break. But we know they coming back. Why? Because they're dynamic characters, and it doesn't make sense for the industry to kill them. Now, what about the horror movies where the person is a regular human being? I don't really appreciate the horror movies where a person is a regular human being. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because it's hard to not kill him. But I don't want him to die. That's the thing. It's hard to not kill a regular human being in a horror movie. But I don't want him to die. And this is what I mean by that. If the killer is a dynamic killer, killing people, whoa, don't you fall down. Hold on. Watch it now. If the killer is a dynamic character, which usually they are, right? And and he's like killing in interesting ways. He's doing like interesting things to kill people. He's killing in interesting ways. He's talking good. He's a real dynamic character, right? I don't want him to die. I want to be able to use him in another movie. You know what I'm saying? But how does the protagonist? How do they survive? How do they get away? You see what I'm saying? Because in a horror movie, the killer don't stop. Come on, you don't stop. Don't stop till I get enough. So the killer's not going to stop. This guy's not going to stop, right? But you have to put him down. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, okay, you shoot him, and then he still gets back up. Then you got to shoot him again. And now, in most of those movies where the killer is a regular human being, they got to make sure they did. They got to make sure that they did. And I don't like that. And I was thinking that if I'm a killer, if I'm a villain, like, a murderous bastard killer, like, serial killer or whatever, and you shoot me, I'm gonna stay down. Or if you stab me up too hard, like if you get me in the gut real good, and that knife is real good, or if you kicking my ass. Like if I'm trying to fight you, trying to kill you, and I'm consistently getting my ass kicked, you done knocked me down the steps, you done hit me in the head with a hammer, you done broke a couple of my ribs, you done hit me with the car, you done slapped me with everything. I'm not Superman, I'm not Freddy Krueger, Jason Michael Myers, and I'm a regular human being, I'm motherfucking Tyrone. I'm gonna sit down, man. I'm gonna sit down, or I'm gonna retreat. Ain't nothing wrong with retreating. Cobra used to retreat all the time. The Decepticons used to retreat all the time. That's why them motherfuckers stayed alive. When Megatron and them boys was getting his ass kicked too much, what did Megatron go? Decepticons, retreat! That means let's get the fuck out of here. We ain't winning today. We not winning today. And that's the same thing they do in all the cartoons. You see all the bad guys. You see it on Thundercats. Mumra and his boys will get the stepping. Cobra Commander will tell the Cobra, let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's retreat. We losing. We ain't about to die though. And that's me. If I'm a killer in a horror film and the motherfucker if he done shot me, I'm getting away. I'm getting away because guess what I don't want to do? I don't want to die. And I don't want to be arrested. So I'm running. I'm out. I'm retreating. Now I know that ain't gonna make for a good ending of the movie. And that's the problem. That is the problem, that you can't make a good ending of the movie without killing the killer. You can't let the killer retreat because he's supposed to be a badass. But it's like, I would because I need him for part 2. I need him for part 2. Don't nothing aggravates me more than a movie being a blockbuster and they saying that's it. We're gonna cut it off. And I know people go, people don't like sequels and sequels fuck up. But if you do it right, sequels don't fuck up. If you do it right, sequels don't fuck up. They made what 8 or 9 Nightmare on Elm Street. They gonna be on Friday the 13th, part 13. You see what I'm saying? So if you make decent sequels, or you can make some bad ones. If the character's good enough, you can make bad sequels. Okay, some of them Nightmare movies, you're like, some of them Friday the 13th, like, Jason went to space. Jason went the fuck to space, and we still making and still watching Friday the 13th movies, right? The sequels don't fuck everything up. Sometimes the part 2 is better than the part 1. You know what I'm saying? I meant to say the part 2 is better than the part 1. I put the 2 up again. But anyway, part 2 is sometimes better than part 1, and we want sequels. We don't want the bad guy to die. 50 Cent said he had to turn the movies off at the end because the bad guy was going to die. He didn't want him to die. So in horror movies, why not make the bad guy retreat? Or why not make the bad guy get fucked up, right? In the movie like this, fuck him up. Fuck him up, shoot him, hit him with the hammer, beat the shit out of the motherfucker, right? Call the police. The police actually comes, and he's actually still there, and they get him and they cuff him up, right? They got to take him to the hospital. There's part two right there. They take the motherfucker to the hospital. The motherfucker find a way to escape. He kills the guards in the hospital. He gets out the hospital and he goes back after the person again. Motherfucker, I guess who's back? Back. That sounds like a good motherfucking sequel to me. That sounds like he got enough people in the hospital to get a good kill count. That sounds very interesting as to how he going to escape the hospital and the cop guard and the handcuff him to the bed. That sounds like a good movie. Why not do that? Why not do that? But no. No, they just want to kill the bad guy because it vindicates the good guy, makes the good guy look real good, and it's still open for sequels, I guess. It's still open for sequels, I guess, because like movies like Die Hard, movies like Predator, movies like that still have room for sequels because the Predator can have sequels because the Predator wasn't just a predator. It was a race of predators, right? That's easy. There's a race of predators, so you can kill one predator and he's got brothers and sisters in them, mom and them, cousin and them that's gonna come back. Okay, you can kill one alien and they got brothers and sisters in them, mother and them, cousin and them that can still come back. You know what I mean? So you can make sequels like that. Or you can do like Die Hard. You can do like Die Hard and make sequels and it just be about McClane and he's fighting a different terrorist. Somebody else done stepped up to the plate. Or the brother of the person that he killed and said, hey, you killed my brother, motherfucker, and I'm here for the revenge, stuff like that. You can do stuff like that, and that works, but why not just use the same guy if he's dynamic and he's coming back for revenge? You got a plot right there. This motherfucker is here. He's back. He wants revenge. There's your plot. He's going to do anything to get his revenge. There's your plot. He's going to kill anybody to get his revenge. There's your plot. The shit writes itself. The shit writes itself. So when I write, or when I think of stories and when I think of movies, that's a big decision to make. You have to decide whether or not you're going to kill or not kill the villain. Okay? And I don't get it. I really don't get it in the gangster movies. You got all these gangster flicks, right? Where these dudes is doing all kinds of gangster ass shit. They talking that shit. They walking that shit. They being real gangsters. They robbing banks. They doing all kinds of gangster shit. They talking gangster shit. They killing everybody. They killing their own homies. They killing their friends. They wiping our families. They going up on the block, pulling up, doing drive-bys and broad daylight. They bust them guns. They do all of that gangster shit just to die at the end of the movie. Just to die at the end of the movie. And some of them be doing that gangster shit for a long time. Some of the movies show years of gangster shit. You know what I mean? This man been around for years doing gangster shit, been running the block for years. And all of a sudden he run into that one cop. He run into that one cop that's like, you know what I mean? Fuck you, I'm gonna kill you. He run into that one cop that takes him out. He run into that one cop that he cannot get past, that he's willing to die to like stop this cop. Like, no, man. Like, no. Like, you see it all the time, New Jack City. So Nino Brown didn't have to die for real. You know what I'm saying? You have to die. If you got busted, man, get busted, man. Go to prison. You got all this money. You got all these connections, man. You probably can get out on a technicality or something. You can get out on a technicality or something. You can try to fucking make it so that he get out of prison, or you can try to make a riot and have him and his homies break him out and he got enough money to hide him. You could have did something. You didn't have to kill him. Look at Scarface. Scarface didn't even get killed by the police. Scarface, right? Everybody loves Scarface. Everybody talks about Scarface. Everybody goes, Scarface was that shit. Scarface was my favorite movie. Everybody talks about Scarface, and Scarface was a gangster, no doubt. But that ending was terrible. Scarface was a very interesting, very dynamic character. Why the fuck did you kill him? Why the fuck did you kill him? And then he did all that gangster shit, and then you died because not only did you die because you wanted to fuck your own sister. Yeah, I paused on that because that was nasty. That's ridiculous, but that's how it seemed, right? That's how it seemed, right? He wanted to protect his sister so bad he didn't want her to get no dick. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it just seemed like he was just like infatuated with his own sister, right? And she was sexy as hell, you know what I'm saying? She was sexy as hell. But you just got so infatuated with your sister that you killed your right hand man. You killed your number two. You killed the only person that even gave a fuck about you. The only person that cared whether you live or die. You killed that motherfucker. You ride or die man. And you had a whole army that really didn't give a fuck about you. You paid them and they were suckers. You did not have not one good soldier. Scarface did not have not one good soldier on his team. He had a whole bunch of suckers. He had a whole bunch of dudes that just had guns. And when it push came to shove, when the men came in to get Scarface, them motherfuckers couldn't do nothing. They was just out there just getting shot up, dying. His whole security team just all killed the fuck up, can't protect this man, right? And then how did Scarface go out? He fucking got all that cocaine on his desk, just getting snorted up, getting drugged up, and going out there with this gun and I'm gonna kill you, motherfuckers. No, yeah, he went out in a blaze of glory, dumbass glory. You know what I mean? And he was a dynamic character. Could you imagine what they could have did if they would did Scarface 2? And I know they could have came up with a dumb idea. Oh, Scarface 2. Oh, the white bitch was pregnant and they didn't know she had a baby somewhere. Or one of the whores he had and had a baby and his son finds out his dad was Scarface and his son, hooks up with some people or whatever. He becomes Scarface 2. They could have did something like that, but that would have been stupid. That would have been stupid and dumb. Whereas they could have had Scarface have some kind of bunker, had some kind of tunnel, had some kind of way to escape. They could have made it so they came in, shoot him up, bang, 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 shoot him up. He killed his sister, killed everybody in the motherfucking place. Scarface finds a way to get through a tunnel. He escapes and he comes back out and he's fucked up, but he got some hidden money somewhere and he finds the hidden money and he comes back for revenge. Scarface Part 2. Scarface Part 2. It could have been written. But no, you want the gangsters to die. You want the gangsters to die when they didn't die all that other time. How is it that this one cop can kill him? Never go to prison, never get arrested, running a criminal empire for years, and all of a sudden, this one cop or this one bad guy or this one person that comes involved in their life gets some fucking murder. Come on, man. Look at what they did with Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter was a normal guy, regular guy, right? Wasn't no like supernatural dude. He was a regular dude, right? And they used him for what? 3 or 4 movies. They used Hannibal Lecter. One of them was a prequel though, so that don't count. But they still got to reuse Hannibal Lecter. And why did they get to reuse Hannibal Lecter? Because they didn't kill him. In the first movie, Hannibal was in prison. Now then he breaks out of prison, and in the second movie he's out of prison, and he got enough money to, be somebody else and be somewhere else. And that motherfucker was a fucked up person, still killing people, still eating people, still making human steaks and shit. Why? Because Hannibal Lecter was a dynamic character, because Hannibal Lecter was a lovable character, because Hannibal Lecter was a good-ass villain, and they didn't want to waste him, so they made the right decision. Hey, man, let's not kill this dude off. Let's not kill him off. Let's let him escape prison. Let's let him escape and let him be back to doing what he do. He's a cool villain. Let's do this. And they kept him around, and they made a couple of more movies off of him. And then after a while, it got old. But look, Hannibal Lecter survived. They used him for some more movies. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, don't kill the villains. Look at all the let me just go to superhero films, right? Now, Marvel has got a good plan, like I said before. Marvel has got a good plan. They had Thanos, and they said Thanos is going to be a major villain, right? And if Thanos is going to be a major villain in the Marvel movie, now think about this. You're a major villain in the Marvel movie, right? You have to be formidable. You have to be a formidable foe. If you're going up against Iron Man and Hulk and Thor, if you going up against all the Avengers, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, all these dudes, you have to be a formidable foe. And a formidable foe is not somebody that can be killed within a couple of days. I was going to say 2 hours, but that's just a real life movie. But okay, so the time frame goes over maybe a day or two, maybe a week. Maybe a week for the time frame. You can't be getting killed in a week if you're supposed to be this tough ass villain. If you're supposed to be formidable enough to go up against the whole Avengers, you can't be getting killed in a week. And it's cool because it's a comic book film, and comic book films are usually generally geared towards children, and so you don't want to show nobody die. But yet you have people die though in some of these movies, so it's like you still have to decide to kill or who not to kill. And you didn't kill Loki. You didn't kill Loki. Why? Because Loki is a dynamic character. Loki is a cool character, and Tom Hiddleston played Loki to the motherfucking hilt, to the kill. And they said, listen, Loki is probably the most important person in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They just have to keep bringing Loki back because people love Loki. And Loki was really good. Tom Hiddleston was really good as Loki. And so it's like, don't kill Loki. Or kill him and bring him back. Fake kill him. Make him like a horror villain because he is supernatural too. Fake kill Loki. But we need Loki in this whole joint. We need Loki in this whole joint. When they pick Thanos, hey, we need Thanos in this whole joint. Thanos has to live for about 3 or 4 of these motherfucking movies because we got Thanos as the big bad. Thanos had to win Infinity War to make him real formidable. Thanos had to even come back in Endgame at the end after they supposedly killed him. But they still had to bring him back at the end of that. And they still had to go, I am Iron Man. And kill Tony Stark in order to get rid of Thanos. That was good. That was good. Comic book movies should always do that. In the original the Superman, I just watched Superman, right? Lex Luthor ain't dead. Lex Luthor ain't dead. Lex Luthor went to Belle Reeve. And you know why Lex Luthor ain't dead? It's simple. It's common sense, bro. Lex Luthor is a big villain. Lex Luthor is a dynamic character. They always want to make this dude dynamic. They don't always hit the mark on him, but every time they do Lex Luthor, they want him to be this dynamic, big villainous character. And they doing Justice League films, they doing Superman films, they doing all these new films, and they want Lex Luthor around, so they don't kill him. They don't kill him. They lock him up. Lex Luthor's smart enough. He's got the money enough. He's going to get out of prison some kind of way. He's going to break out. He's going to be back. He's going to continue to try to fuck with Superman because he's got a vendetta. You can continue to use Lex Luthor, his Lex box, and all of the Lex Luthor stories that are in the comics. You can continue to use them forever and ever, and it's cool not to kill him. Batman did not follow that model. Batman did not follow that model. And based on Batman not following that model, we got some shit. We got some bullshit out of Batman. And that was the most stupidest thing to me because like Batman came out. And we know for a fact, we know without a shadow of a doubt that if Batman is successful, they're going to make more Batman movies. We knew that going in. We knew they were going to make more Batman movies, right? So you start out with the first Michael Keaton Batman, and you start out with the Joker, right? And you kill the Joker. Kill the Joker for what? Y'all know y'all making more Batman movies. Jack Nicholson was great as the Joker, but you just didn't have the balls to keep him alive. And ain't Batman not supposed to kill people? And you make it look accidental. You make it look like, Batman didn't intentionally kill him, whatever the case may be, but you didn't have to kill him at all. You could have sent Joker to Arkham. There are so many Arkham stories. There are so many Arkham stories. There are Arkham stories that you could write that you don't even have to need Batman. There's Suicide Squad stories. There's so much stories that revolve around the people from the Batman's gallery of villains that you didn't even have to use Batman. So you could have put Joker in Arkham. You could have put every Batman villain in Arkham, and you could have did an Arkham story. But no, they killed Joker off, so they come up with Batman 2, and now they got to use Penguin and Catwoman. Penguin and Catwoman was cool. Penguin and Catwoman worked. Was they good as Jack Nicholson's Joker? No, but Jack Nicholson's Joker was dead. Can't use him, so we use Penguin and Catwoman. Right? Michelle Pfeiffer, great Catwoman. Wee! Michelle Pfeiffer killed that role. And even though I didn't like the character of Penguin, I didn't like how they depicted him with the fucked up hands and stuff, like trying to make him like almost like a real deformed penguin shit. I don't know where they was going with that. It was kind of dark, it was kind of creepy and shit, but that's Tim Burton for you, and that's creepy for you. But the Penguin character worked. Danny DeVito has the Penguin character work. What do? You get rid of them too. You wipe them out too. Why would you kill Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman? She was nicey nice. You could have brought her back for a couple of films. There's plenty of Catwoman Batman stories. You could have did the Catwoman Batman team up. You could have did the Catwoman Batman. You don't want to put that in a comic book movie, but you kind of do a little bit. You don't show them actually getting busy, but you imply it. You know what I mean? You show them kissing. You show them like being in love, I guess what I'm saying. They're doing the Fantastic Four now, and kids know where babies come from. Ain't Sue and Reed about to have a baby? So kids know where babies come from, so they know that Sue and Reed, yeah, they married, but they know they were, doing the little, the horizontal poker, whatever you want to call it. They was fucking. can say fucking. This is my podcast. I ain't got to be sugarcoated. They was fucking, right? You can show that Batman and Catwoman got they fuck on. You know what I mean? You can do all kinds of shit with that. You could do all kinds of shit with that. Michelle Pfeiffer was great. You could have brought Michelle Pfeiffer back. But what do? You kill them off. And then we start going downhill. We started going for the Riddler and Mr. Freeze. And we started trying to use big names like Jim Carrey and Arnold Schwarzenegger because those villains wasn't as dynamic as the Joker, wasn't as dynamic as Danny DeVito's Penguin, wasn't as dynamic as Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, and Michael Keaton was not part of this. Michael Keaton said, I'm not going to be Batman, so you pick a new Batman, and then you got these new villains that's not as dynamic, but you want for big names, and then you get the Batman and Robin and Poison Ivy, and I ain't taking nothing against Emma Thurman, I ain't got nothing against that, and Poison Ivy is a good Batman villain, but see where I'm going? Had they not killed the other villains, they could have incorporated them, and maybe those films would have been good. Maybe we didn't have to see Arnold Schwarzenegger and Mr. Freeze, because maybe we would have had a Jack Nicholson Joker in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we would have had a Jack Nicholson Joker in that movie. Or maybe we would have had a Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman in that movie, and then we could have hired like a regular person to play Mr. Freeze, because we got our star power. Maybe Michael Keaton would have came back. I don't know why Michael Keaton didn't come back, but maybe Michael Keaton would have came back to Batman if they said, hey, listen, we want to do a story again. We want Jack Nicholson's Joker to return, or we want Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman to return. And in order for them to return, we need you. And they could have made something like that, and Mr. Freeze could have been a side villain. Riddler could have been a side villain. They didn't have to use Jim Carrey. They could use anybody else. They could have saved a couple of dollars, and they probably could have had a more dynamic film. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have to hire George Clooney. They didn't have to hire Val Kilmer. They didn't have to do Batman and Robin like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they made a decision to kill off these dynamic villains, and then they fucked themselves. And it's crazy because in comic book films, the villains always escape. The villains always come back. They like Freddy Krueger. They like Jason. They're not dead. You know what I mean? So it's like, why kill them? Why kill them? And that was my point. That was my point of the whole podcast. It's like, to kill or not to kill. So my point is, if you make a movie and you use the dynamic villains, and you have to use dynamic villains because they have to be formidable enough to go. You know, they have to be formidable enough to go against your hero. That's why they have to be dynamic, because heroes don't necessarily have to be dynamic characters. Because heroes have to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think the villains are more dynamic, because heroes have to be vulnerable, so to speak. Do they not? Because you're not a hero if it's easy. You know what I'm saying? You're not a hero if it's easy. Like if you could just go out there and just beat the villain up and kill him real quick, then it's like it wasn't a challenge for you. It wasn't nothing for you. And if the villain wasn't really a threat, like if the villain really wasn't about to fuck some shit up, like if the villain wasn't really being a fucking menace to society, wasn't really destroying shit, then how much heroin did the hero do? You know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, Spider-Man can't be no fucking street level thing. Like, what is he going to be taking out? Like for real, Spider-Man's got a plethora of villains, right? He's got a plethora of villains. He's got a villain gallery, right? But nobody cares about Spider-Man taking out Tombstone. Nobody cares about Spider-Man taking out Electro. Nobody cares about none of them villains. We care about like big names. We care about like people who can do catastrophic things. We care about like Dr. Octopus. We care about Venom. We care about Green Goblin. We don't even care about the Lizard that much. You know what I'm saying? The Lizards are equal. We don't care about Mr. Sandman that much. So putting Spider-Man back at street level is like, who the fuck wants to see Spider-Man at street level? And who the fuck wants to see Spider-Man stop some fucking bank robberies or bullshit like that? No, we want to see Spider-Man fuck with Venom. We want to see Spider-Man fucking with Green Goblin. We want to see Spider-Man fucking with the big shots. Maybe even Kingpin a little bit, something. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's the other thing. When Spider-Man 2 killed off Dr. Octopus, made him die, I was like, oh, man. I was like, why would they kill him off? Molina was so good in that role. And I pictured something like Molina being, like, in prison, but being, like, a mentor or somebody that they would go to. Because he was so smart, and he had the octopus arms, and he had the ability, and he actually caught Spider-Man. He actually caught Spider-Man. He actually captured him. He actually had Spider-Man dead to rights. He beat him. Right? So I pictured that Alfred Molina could play a role where, yeah, he might have been in prison or he might not have been full power Dr. Octopus, but somebody like the Green Goblin or somebody like Venom or somebody like Electro or somebody could have went to him and said, "Hey, Doctor Ock, you actually killed Spider-Man. Well, not killed him, but you actually beat Spider-Man. You defeated him. You like turned him into Harry Osborn or whatever." And Doctor Octopus could have played some kind of role in the background, or Doctor Octopus could have came back. Doctor Octopus could have merged with Venom and had like a Venom puss. You know what I mean? There's so many things they could have did, and Alfred Molina was so great in that movie. So great in that movie, and I thought that they was going to do Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 4, and they tried to do Venom, and they didn't do Venom right, and Mr. Sandman worked, but it wasn't enough to push it, and they fucked it up. Could you imagine if they still would have had Dr. Octopus? If you could imagine if they would have still had Alfred Molina or Willem Dafoe for that matter. Willem Dafoe was great as the Green Goblin. Can you imagine if he was still around, still alive, looking all crazy and ugly and shit, being in jail or prison somewhere? Can you imagine the stories that they made? I guarantee if Alfred Molina, if Dr. Octopus or what's his name? Or Green Goblin, William Dafoe, or Alfred Molina, Dr. Octopus, if either one of them two characters was still alive in that Spider-Man universe, I guarantee you Spider-Man 4 would have been made. I guarantee you Spider-Man 4 would have been made. Why Spider-Man 4 wasn't really made is because they was like, yo, we used Dr. Octopus, he's dead. We used Green Goblin, he's dead. We tried Venom, we fucked that shit up. We tried Venom and we fucked that up. And Venom's kind of dead too. Mr. Sandman is alive, but he corny as fuck, for real. Can't use him. We could try for Electro, Mysterio, but and whatchamacallit, so that's what it was. Spider-Man 4, they was trying to come up with another villain, trying to come up with a storyline and all that when they could have kept Venom. Venom would have had a bunch of more storylines. Venom would have had a bunch of more ways to come after Spider-Man. Venom could have got back in Spider-Man. Venom was in Scorpion before. Venom even could have teamed up with Spider-Man. They could have did Maximum Carnage. They could have did that Carnage story within the Spider-Man, but they had so much they could have did, but they lost all of that because they wanted to kill off people. They wanted the bad guy had to die for whatever reason. The bad guy had to die. Superman, Man of Steel, kills Zod. You didn't have to kill Zod. Zod is a formidable bad guy. You didn't have to kill. Well, I guess you did. I guess you did have to kill Zod, because what was they going to do with Zod if they didn't kill him? What was they going to do with him? They was going to lock Zod up? Superman was going to find the Phantom Zone? Was Superman going to be able to find the Phantom Zone and put Zod back in the Phantom Zone? Because they couldn't keep Zod in the regular prison. Unless they wrapped him up. But Superman knew that kryptonite was the thing, so they could have held Zod down, put some kryptonite handcuffs on him or something. I don't know. Or they could have just sent Zod back off into space, but they know he would have came back, so that was stupid. So maybe you do kill Zod. Maybe you do kill Zod, but these are the decisions that I said you have to make. You have to decide to kill or not to kill. Me, I would never kill none of my bad guys. And I ain't saying that you had to use them. If I was a movie producer, movie writer, whatever, and I wrote a movie and I had a bad guy and a good guy, and it was something like that, not like a drama or like a comedy or something like that, but I had a movie where there was like violence, like killing, cussing, fucking. That's what I like, killing, cussing, fucking. So I would not kill the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? I would keep the bad guy because you never know when you want to reuse them. I'm not saying that the sequels have to reuse them, but I'm saying you have them in your pocket. You have them in your pocket. You do part one does great, and you're like, oh shit, we got something going on here. You do part two, you use a different bad guy, and part two does enough for you to say, hey man, maybe we could do a part three, but we gotta up this ante. Part two went down a little bit. The sequel wasn't as good. But when you do part three, you go, guess who's back? Guess who's back? The guy who made part one so dynamic is back, and guess what? The motherfucker that we didn't kill in part two is back too, but we gonna kill that motherfucker. We gonna kill the part two bad guy in the beginning of part three, but what's gonna happen is we're not gonna realize that the good guy not gonna realize that the part one foe is back too and more dangerous than ever. Now in part three, you might kill him. You might kill him, but you gotta come up with another bad guy if you want to do part four, but you might not kill him. You might leave him alone. Might let him come back again. Now at this point, it don't make sense for the bad guy, for the good guy to not kill him, but you never know. You never know, but for me, I leave that good dynamic villain in my pocket. I leave him in my pocket just to bring him back out. I would leave him in my pocket just to bring him back out. What other movies do they kill the bad guy? Oh, this is an example where it's not clean cut. Like bad guy, good guy, but it's still an example too. When they had those family movies, and the dad or the grandpa or somebody in the family or the grandmom or somebody in the family is real nasty. Those family dynamic movies where like the grandmom is a real bitch or the mom is a real bitch or something like that. and and then at the end of the movie, they had those movies where it's like his family and the mom's a real bitch or the grandpa's a real bitch or the dad's a real fucking asshole, whatever the case may be, and the family hates him and he's starting all the trouble within the family and all the drama within the family revolves around the dad and all the bullshit, and it's family drama dynamic and all that. And then at the end, the dad gets to have a heart attack or something and he's in the hospital and beep, 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 and he's supposed to be humble as shit. But he ain't. He's still a fucking asshole in the hospital, and then they make him die, and then the family got to go, man, dad was fucked up, but he shouldn't have died though. We did have some good times with our dad. You know what I mean? Them kind of dramas, them kind of family dynamic films. I would not kill the dad off. I wouldn't kill the dad off because if the movie does good, you want to be able to set up a part two. You want to be able to set up a part two. You want to be able to set up a thing where the dad doesn't have a heart attack. Part two would be great. The dad was an asshole. He had a fucking heart attack. He almost died, and he coming back, and he's still a fucking asshole. He don't humble himself for shit. He doubled down on all the shit that he did in the first movie. He's back here again, part two, doubling the fuck down. He's worse. He's worse than ever. If part one worked, part two would work. You know what I mean? If Grandpa was an asshole in part one, Grandpa could be a super asshole in part two, and then you can have Grandpa groom the nephew. Grandpa is hanging out with little Billy, and he's turning little Billy into another asshole. You know what I'm saying? So even in movies that are not meant to have villains and bad guys and family dynamic films, sometimes they kill people in the family dynamic films that I go, this was one of the best characters. Why are you killing him? Yeah, he was fucked up, but fucked up is funny. Fucked up in family is funny. Fucked up in family works. Fucked up in family is the most dynamic character. The most dynamic character in the family movies is the most fucked up character. The most dynamic character in a black family movie is the crackhead uncle. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, the crackhead uncle, because he's funny, but he's a thief and he's fucked up. He's a bad person, but he's funny as hell. And he's fucked up and he's dynamic. Yeah, you like the mom. Yeah, the little sister's cute. Yeah, little brother's handsome and he's selling drugs or he's doing whatever. Yeah, you got the whole family dynamic. You got Big Mama over here who makes Sunday dinner and stuff like that. But the crackhead uncle or the nut-ass, cheating-ass cousin, you know what I mean? Or the thug life, the fucked up person, the family dynamic in the family films is always the coolest person in the movies. In some kind of way, that's the person that gets fucked up or killed because they got to learn their lesson. They got to learn their lesson. They got to die because they can't be nasty. They got to die because they're an asshole. They got to die because they're a crackhead. You know what I mean? No, we don't have to kill people and everything. Now, yeah, I do. I ain't gonna lie. I do. I kill people and everything. Every book that I have written, people have died. Every screenplay that I've written, people have died. Every story that I've written, every idea that I have, yes, I do. I kill people because I love killing, cussing, fucking. But I kill the right people. I kill somebody that's shocking, but not as dynamic enough to keep alive. I kill somebody that you go, okay, this is a cool person in the movie. Ain't no reason for this person to die. That's why I kill. I kill the person that ain't no reason for them to die. I kill a person that ain't a villain. I kill a person that ain't really a hero. I kill a person that's there and that's part of it, and that you think like they not part of it enough to die, and then all of a sudden, bang, boom, bop, they dead. I kill that kind of motherfucker. If you read my latest book, Dad, some shocking murders in that book. It's some shocking murders in that book, but they not the most dynamic characters. I keep my dynamic characters alive, and most of the time, the bad guy wins in my books. Most of the time in my stories, the bad guy wins, and it's not really a win for the bad guy. It's so that I can use this character later on. It's so that if this book blow up or this feature blow up, I can use this character later on because this character is dynamic. This character, even though this character is a terrible person, this character is also the most enjoyable, the most likable character in my story. I always make the villains very dynamic. I always make the villains most likable because good guys are a dime a dozen. You always gonna have that cop that's like gung ho, that's like real cop. You always gonna have that person in the family that's like, we gotta pray. We gotta stay positive. We gotta keep it going. You always good guys are a dime a dozen. You ain't always gonna have them villains. You ain't always gonna have that good asshole. You ain't gonna always have that real corrupt dude. I mean, yeah, you can find corrupt people, but I bet your man can't do it like me. Like me, there's goats of villains too. You know what I mean? There's goats of villains. There's corny ass villains and there's good villains. I mean, how many times we've seen a movie where the villain was kind of corny? You know what I mean? So I use my villains to be my most dynamic characters because you can always dispose of a hero. You can always easily come up with a new hero. You can't always easily come up with a new villain. Villains got to be smart. Villains got to have plots and schemes, or villains got to be vicious and malicious. And it's hard. It's hard to come up with those kind of characters. And so that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't particularly kill the bad guy. Now, they ain't saying that every movie got to have a sequel. What it's saying is, if a sequel was merited, I still have a cool ass character that I can bring in. And they don't even have to be the main star. I can have that character be like a villain consultant. I can have that character just be like lurking in the background. I can have that character, like in the case of the Silence of the Lambs, in case of Hannibal Lecter, he was a consultant for the good guy in the one movie, right? He was a consultant for the police. Matter of fact, in two movies, in the original movie, he was a consultant for the police. Because he was so murderous and so killing and so smart that they was like, yo, he's a serial killer. He's a murderous bastard. Like, he knows how these fucking ignorant ass killing people think. Like, let's talk to him. Let's see if maybe he can help us figure it out. And he had a reputation because he was the guy that the first cop went to help figure shit out. So you can do a lot of stuff like that. So when you have dynamic characters and you make them villains, you don't have to kill them. And I'm so sick of watching these movies where the bad guys die. And you know what else is crazy like too? Like I love Pulp Fiction, right? I love Pulp Fiction, and I always thought they should have did a Pulp Fiction part 2, but they didn't. But they could have. Marcellus didn't die. I mean, Bruce Willis was fucked him up. Bruce Willis was about to kill him. He had him down. He was about to bleed. I'm gonna blow your motherfucking brains off, but he didn't. Marcellus Wallace didn't die. He got humbled. He got fucked in the ass. He got raped, and that was like a humbling situation, but he didn't die. So if they did want to do a Pulp Fiction part 2, they could do it because Marcellus was still alive. He still had his organization. Jules was still out there somewhere. Marcellus could have went and got Jules back. Jules, I need you one last time. Jules, I need you one last time. Now Vincent's dead, but you got to kill somebody, right? You can't have a Pulp Fiction film and everybody lives. Zed's dead. Cool. Zed was raping people. Like, fuck Zed. The other boy that was with Zed is dead. Cool. You know what I mean? Vincent's dead. That's cool. I like Vincent and all, but Vincent can die. That's fine. That's fine and dandy. But the main guy, Marcellus, wasn't dead. And the most dynamic character in Pulp Fiction, which is Jules, was also still alive. So we could have had a Pulp Fiction part 2. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm thinking. I mean, that's all I was going to talk about. That's all I'm saying is that movies should invest more in not killing the bad guy. Now, like I said, I do know that when you're in a horror movie and you got bad guys and villains that are regular human beings that are not supernatural, that you can't just automatically bring back, it's hard not to kill them because, like I said, you didn't kill somebody's family members. You know what I mean? You didn't kill somebody's friends. You know what I mean? Like most of the time in a horror movie, like the person, the good guy, the hero's family is killed. So of course they don't want you alive. They don't want you to go to jail. They want to kill your ass, and they got legit right to kill your ass. And I'm sorry, but if somebody killed my wife or my kids or somebody in my family, my mom and them, something like that, and I had a gun to them and they tried to kill me, and I can legit blow their motherfucking brains out, they not living. They're not walking this earth no more. So it's more realistic to kill them. It's more sensible to kill them. But I'm just saying, as the movie maker, you have to make that decision. And for me, it would be hard to make that decision if the bad guy is dynamic. You know what I'm saying? If the bad guy is cool, you know what I'm saying? Now, like when they did the first Scream, the one boy was kind of cool. The other boy was kind of a dick, asshole, whatever. I would have killed him. I would have left Billy Loomis would have been alive. But the other one, Stu, yeah, Stu would have died like a motherfucker. But they killed both of them. But I'm just saying, I would have killed. Like in that case, you have two killers. Kill one, keep the dynamic one. Billy Loomis was dynamic. Stu was a dickhead. Kill Stu, keep Billy. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I was saying. And so, with that being said, to kill or not to kill, what would you do? If you was making a movie right now and you realize that the villain was cool as shit and everybody liked the villain, you can always go back and do some things. You could recut the last scene. If you did the movie and you did the reviews or the previews or whatever the case may be, or what is it called when they had the people watch it and they get the feedback from the people. If you did something like that and they was just like, damn man, that bad guy was cool as shit, whatever. Go back and refilm that ending scene. Keep that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Because you never know if you're going to make a sequel. You never know if you're going to make a prequel. Well, if you make a prequel, you can still keep them alive. But prequels kind of suck. So yeah, man, I'm just saying, I would not kill the villain, but I'm saying that is a hard choice to make when you're going to make a movie, to kill or not to kill. That is a legit fucking question. And with that being said, I'm going in this podcast episode, and today's episode was brought to you today by the co-host. That's right, 1800 jalapeno cucumber. I know it don't sound good, but it does taste delicious. Okay, and it contributes to every episode. Okay, and you see where it gets me, right where I wanna be. She do dee do be do. That ain't the words, but I don't know the words. I don't care. But yeah, that shit's good. My show is good. You're good. Thanks for all the viewers that was in here. I know y'all was in and out, but I seen them numbers. They went up to 2, like three or 4. Then they dropped back down to 0. I see them. I got some couple of comments in here that I see Mr. O with the info. Okay, and RP and RPV incognito, whatever the case may be. I see that. And I see some comments, and I think the people that's here, I think all the people that's going to be in the audience, I think the people that's going to watch this later. And remember, you got to like it. Remember, you got to share it. Remember, you got to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't usually do that, but everybody keeps saying, you got to tell people to subscribe. You got to tell people to like it. You got to tell people to comment. You got to tell people to do it. And it's like, y'all go on social media. Y'all know what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? When you go on social media, you know what to do. If you like something, you know to share it. If you like something, you know to comment. If you like seeing my content, you already know to subscribe. But they said, no, you got to tell them. You got to remind them. You got to ask them. You got to beg. You know I'm saying, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my podcast, watch my shorts, watch my reels, do all that shit. Even you can, I don't know if you could give me some hearts or whatever, however they make the donations to make money, send me a couple of pennies or something. Do all of that shit. Do all of that shit. Show your man some support. And if you got a topic or anything you want to talk about, or anything you want me to talk about, or anything you want my opinion on, or want to hear me talk shit about, or you want to be a guest on this show, hit me up. Hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on Messenger. If you know me in real life, you can text my phone and call me. I will put you on this show tonight. Not tonight. Late. But I'll put you on this show whenever I do the next episode. So holla at your boy and get on the show. And don't be trying to argue with me because you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Don't argue with me now, but come on here. And I'm gonna let you state your opinion. You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You don't even have to be respectful. You don't even have to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to come on this show, then come on up here. Hey, cousin Freddie Allen, you gonna be on the show next month. You said you'd do it. So in August, cousin, I'm gonna set up a date, and you're gonna be on this show. And guess what? Guess what, y'all? Guess what? When my cousin comes on the show, he believes God. He believes God. And the reason why I want him on this show for real is not because of part of my heathenism. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my cousin on this show because of part of my heathenism. I don't want my cousin on the show because I'm trying to get into religious conversations with him. I don't want my cousin on the show because I'm trying to debate about God or who's going to heaven and holy stuff. None of that. I want my cousin on this show because, number one, he's a man of the Lord. And he was very close with my grandmother, and he is family, and I'm challenging myself to not say cuss words. And he said, I believe God the way Merlene taught me. See, that's my grandma. See what you're talking about? But here's the thing. So he's a man of God or whatever. And I'm challenging myself to do another episode. I already did one episode with minimum cussing. I said I wasn't going to cuss, but I think I dropped 1 or 2. So now I'm challenging myself to do an episode where I don't have to talk like this, where I can expand my language and let y'all know that I am very articulate, let y'all know that I am diverse in my language. And also, number 2, main reason why I want my cousin on the show is because his church is a community, and I like that. I like that. We got so much negativity with black young men going on in this world right now, and to have a man that's a young black man, that's a pastor of a church, that's taking care of kids, taking care of the elderly, that's writing books and having community centers and doing so much to help other people and really, really standing on his beliefs and being a genuine good person. We don't get to showcase that much in our community. We don't get to showcase that much with our race. And for me to have somebody in my family that's doing that when my family's a little, like full of heathens. So I just want to do that and just put some positivity out there. And so that's why my cousin will be on this show. And anybody else who wants to be on this show, just holler at your boy. And I promise you, I do not discriminate. And so with that being said, I'm going to say thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.